Hi, my name's John Cordy, and I often get asked, why is he being like that? He seems really spaced out and he's sort of dribbling a bit, I think. And I say, I'm just trying to keep him armour. My name is Jeffrey Dahmer. And I sort of scuttle off, and I never get bothered again, but don't check the apartment, obviously. In this video, I wanted to just talk about what I think is the right thing to do at the moment as regards to which modeler to buy. So obviously, being that I experiment with lots of modelers on the channel, quite a reasonable question I get asked is, which would you buy if you could have only one? Or, you know, it might be coming from the perspective of someone who's got an amount of money to spend, and they say, would you go down the Kemper route, or would you go down the AXFX route, or the Helix route, or the HX Stomp route, or the GT1000? Obviously they don't ask me about that one so much, but you get the drift. Honestly, at the moment, I think the right answer is to wait. The reason that I say that is that at the moment we've got the launch of the Neural DSP Quad Cortex sort of underway and sort of fairly confidently expected around the end of March for the tier 1, tier 2 pre-order people. Probably shortly thereafter for the rest of people that have got their pre-orders in. Now, the reason that I would suggest that waiting might at the moment be a fairly good strategy is because we're starting to see that people are putting their Kempers potentially on eBay, putting their Helix on eBay, or even in some cases putting their AXFX on eBay or FM3 or whatever. And I think there might be an opportunity, if you're someone who's looking to buy something, to pick up some of these units for a good price used. And certainly I'd be happy with pretty much any of these units that you see me playing with. My kind of go-to are the HX Stomp and the Helix. The FM3 I'm really impressed with, and I think that makes a strong contender for people that are looking to get into the fractal world but potentially don't have the money to drop on a full AXFX. Equally, you can see on eBay there's things like the AXFX 2 that are coming up used, you know, around the £800 to £1,000 mark. Those things certainly are not going to sound any worse than they did when they first got launched, and you'll probably find there's infinite useful tones and inspiring stuff within any of one of those units. Likewise, at the start of this video you saw me, one of the solos was a Kemper, using I think Tone Junkie's recent Magnatone profiles. I just was doing a demo for that this morning, and there was that one particular tone that really jumped out at me as something I'd like to use going forward. And then I've mixed in my own kind of Helix native tones, and I think you can get useful stuff out of all of these. Now, you already knew that, but I wanted to talk about something. Obviously, you already know that Neural DSP are kind of the new kid on the block, and they've kind of marketed this Quad Cortex thing quite heavily, and I think quite successfully, given that people are talking about it so much, myself included. I'm on that tier 1 pre-order list, so as soon as I get one, you'll see me checking one out and stuff. And inevitably, I guess the questions will be, is this thing better than X or Y? And the answer from me generally is, I don't really know how you play guitar or what you're going for, so you can probably judge best what I prefer by what I use most on the channel. I'm not paid by anyone to use any of these products. I just use them because I want to, and I'm interested in gear, probably the same as you are. I'd probably argue that most of the people that have done demos with the Quad Cortex that you've seen so far wouldn't do so with that product if they didn't think it was decent. There'd be no good reason to do that, but I think it will be interesting in the next kind of few months to see who continues to use the product. You know, maybe someone like Pete Thorne is traditionally a bit of an amp guy or whatever. If it turns out in a couple of months that he's still using the product, that would be interesting. Equally, if someone like Tom Quayle, who's been using other modelers up to this point, I think he's not particularly loyal to any one brand. If it turns out that he really likes the Quad Cortex, I think that's interesting as well. So that to me is why I think it might be a good time to just pause before you potentially spend your money, because there could very well be some good deals that are coming up on eBay of units that you were up to this point very interested in. Just because one product comes along, the Kemper is not suddenly defunct, it's not suddenly a bad sounding product, or the Helix is not a bad sounding product just because there's a new product in town, or the AXFX has suddenly not stopped being one of the real kind of flagships in the modelling world. You know, that work that has been done is not irrelevant just because of the advent of one new product, which should be coming at the end of March. So maybe wait and see if you can get by without buying something for now. None of us have got any gigs anyway. Well, I say none of us, you might have if you're watching this. But I think maybe it's a good time to just wait and see what happens and see what people think when they actually get their hands on one, and you may then see some deals coming up. Maybe. I don't know. Sorry for wasting your time. Here's some other guitar playing. Oh, you can get the presets in the description if you want them for the Helix stuff. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, if you wanted to like and subscribe, you could do that as well. I'll stop rambling now. Cheers.